No, I have no answer for that.
In a million years, it won't matter, Tom.
Do you mean to spell Mardi Gras wrong?
Yeah, because I don't know how to spell it.
Do you want me to spell it right for you?
Yeah, because you're a little OCD about this.
I am. I will cop to that.
I'm glad you did it. I have no problem with it.
Well, these also serve as our show notes. I think that's the other reason I get all OCD.
Yeah, you don't want people going, why did they spell that with a U? Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras. Gras.
What
if you just call it Mardi's Craw?
Oh.
It's Fat Tuesday. Mardi means Tuesday. Gras means fat.
When is Fat Tuesday? It's coming
today.
out, right?
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
Yes. Hope you all had a nice Mardi
Today's
Gras.
not Tuesday. You're right.
You know what? Actually, a few of my friends from New Orleans posted stuff yesterday that I was like, I guess they're just in New Orleans or something right now.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
No, today's Ash Wednesday, and I'm giving up Postmates delivery food for Lent.
I remember years ago, or something, and one of my makeup artists had, I was like, got something on your forehead, and she was like, that's not funny, and I'm like, what? You have something on your forehead? Got a smudge or something? It was Ash Wednesday.
Oh.
Yeah. I wasn't being funny. I was like, no,
you just
really,
didn't
you have
realize
something on your forehead.
Yeah.
That's something I would have done.
I think I asked too many questions in Catholic school, but I was like, where do the ashes come from? And they said they burned these special pipes or something.
Oh, like the actual ashes, not the metaphor, not the metaphor behind the ashes.
Yeah, where do the ashes come from? And then I also wanted to know who made the holy sacraments, right? Before you dunk it in the oil.
I thought the ashes came from the palm fronds from Palm Sunday.
Oh, did it?
I don't know. Oh. That's why I was asking questions.
That's what I was always told by Father Schmidt.
I remember, have you ever gotten the communion before they're dunked? And they're like holy sacrament, they're just the bread. They look like little styrofoam wafers.
That's how they are.
I know, but you have
I meant to ask you this earlier. Did you read the email from the email that was about how two-factor authentication would be helpful for security cameras?
Oh yeah. I
thought we could sort of go kind of from the discussion into hey, speaking of.
Oh yeah, just pop it there below the notes. Perfect. Cool. Yeah, I like that.
All right.
Actually,
it would be
put it in mailbag, and we'll
hit it.
We'll do it.
We'll hit it how we hit it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. We'll do I'll get rid of all the space.
We'll hit it.
I can hit that. Mail. All right, it's time to start the show.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, it's 2:30.
All right.
Oh. I don't see your email. Where'd it go?
1:30. Your time.
What do you mean?
It went below because it was my mistake. I was moving lines. There. Okay. Now it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. It's fine.
Right.
Ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
What's that? You want to give back some value for the value you get out of Daily Tech News Show? No problem. Just head to dailytechnewsshow.com/support to find out how.
This is the Daily Tech News for Wednesday, February 14th, 2018. From DTNS headquarters in Los Angeles, I'm Tom Merrit.
And from a very Valentine studio feline, I'm Sarah Lane.
From the house filled with smells of Mardi Gras food, I'm Scott Johnson.
And of course, my Valentine, our producer, Roger Chang.
Aww.
I love me all.
Saint Valentine, patron saint of epilepsy, blindness, and he was beheaded. That's why we celebrate.
Right, with candy and love.
Right. Chaucer started that for the Hallmark Company, I think. That's how that goes.
And the chalk candy.
Let's start with a few tech things you should know.
Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, or SETI, researchers claim they can't expand operations at 2 observatories because of the high demand for GPUs due to cryptocurrency mining. Prices for GPUs have been high and availability has been very limited.
Oh my gosh, if one more person calls me and says they're going to give me their life for my GPU, I don't know what I'll do. CNBC reports that the heads of 6 U.S. intelligence agencies told the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee that they recommend U.S. citizens do not use products from Huawei or ZTE. FBI Director Chris Wray says the government was, quote, deeply concerned about the risks of allowing any company or entity that is beholden to a foreign government that don't share our values to gain positions of power inside our telecommunications networks.
It's Huawei, not Yahweh.
I still do it wrong. It's just,
if you get a phone from Yahweh, use it. Russia's communications regulator Roskomnadzor has set a deadline of Wednesday for controversial videos of billionaire Oleg Deripaska to be removed from YouTube and Instagram accounts of opposition protester Alexei Navalny. If neither Navalny nor YouTube or Instagram remove the offending videos, the sites could be blocked in Russia.
HTC's president of smartphones, Chang, has resigned due to his personal career plan, whatever that may be. Google took over a large part of HTC's mobile phone business at the end of January, though HTC still has plans to release phones. According to Apple Daily and UDN, Chang plans to set up an AI startup later this year.
Or is he an AI?
He is an alien who wants to crypto mine.
Maybe so. We don't have proof otherwise. All right, let's talk a little more about fast modems, Scott.
Yeah, fast modems. We all need them. Our phones need them. Qualcomm has announced that its X24 LTE modem can handle speeds up to 2 gigabits per second. The X24 is the first commercially Category 20 LTE modem to be announced, according to Qualcomm. It may be integrated into Qualcomm's next premium mobile chip, which Qualcomm says will show up in commercial devices in the first half of 2019 next year. The X24 is built on a 7-nanometer process, which would translate to potentially power-saving stuff. So that's good. Everybody likes that. All of this, of course, would rely on carriers supporting 7X aggregation and 4x4 MIMO on up to 5 aggregated carriers. What that basically means is maybe this is 5G, Tom. Maybe this is it.
It's a step to 5G. It's LTE. It's not 5G, but it is the thing that gets us used to fast speeds or kind of paves over the gap. Because 5G won't roll out to everybody at the beginning, but theoretically, if carriers support this service, it would be easier to implement than 5G. It's kind of reminds me of HSPA Plus, where they're like, these are actually faster than 4G than actual LTE speeds, but then eventually LTE passed it. And this is kind of like that. Like, if you could actually get 2 gigabits per second out of LTE, then you won't really worry about getting 5G until 5G is capable of more than that.
Is this the wrong classification to say that Qualcomm is like the Intel of modem chips? Because they seem like they're in everything. Everybody uses Qualcomm chips for this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Intel wishes they were the Qualcomm of modem and smartphone chips. Definitely.
Yep.
Chrome's built-in ad block program goes live Thursday. It will only block ads on sites that violate the Coalition for Better Ads guidelines. That's a group with not just Google in it. It's Facebook, Washington Post, Procter & Gamble, et cetera, et cetera. If a site that gets most of its visitors from North America or Europe, at least to start, shows pop-up ads, prestitial ads, autoplay video ads, and a few other kinds, then Chrome will block all that site's ads. So you punish the entire site if it violates these guidelines. And that would include blocking Google's own AdSense and DoubleClick ads. Otherwise, the Chrome ad blocker does not block ads. If a site's playing by the rules, all the ads get shown.
You said earlier today, and I thought this was an important point, there's a lot of people out there that use blockers on their browser, and their claim is, I use these for those ads that are against these guidelines, or that are annoying, or jump out at me, or stay there too long, or pop up over things when I'm trying to just do regular work or whatever. This is going to be a real interesting test to see who uninstalls full ad blockage and goes with this versus those who stay in there because they just don't like the idea of ad-supported anything.
You know, I started running an ad blocker not that long ago, just to be like, I have the right. I'm going to do this. And I mean, it's more annoying. And yes, I probably open a lot more stories in various tabs from various publications than the average person in any given day. But half of the time, it's like, we noticed you have an ad blocker on, and then you got to go in and turn it off for the domain. And it's like, it is, because ads never bothered me that much, although I'm sure subliminally they were affecting me somehow. I almost am like, screw the ad blocker. I hate this. But if Google makes that process any more streamlined, I'll be happy.
Well, and it is calling your bluff, like you say, Scott. If all you want is the abusive ads to go away, the ones that blare video at you or stop you from getting to the site and take over the website, then Chrome has got your back, apparently, if you use Chrome.
Yeah,
if you
sounds
use
good.
Firefox, it's not going to help.
There's all the other browsers. That's another big question. And will some of them implement similar things? That might be cool. But I just think it's a good step in the right direction. And it's also, it's a chance for Google to show how impartial they can be, because this, like you said, includes their ads on sites that are abusing those rules. And if they're blocking their own ads, that in theory is working against their own best interests. So this is a great way for Google to say, look, we're looking at the greater good of the web experience and not necessarily just trying to protect our own stuff.
I think it's purely selfish. Google is saying, we make less money on ads if everyone's out blocking them. So let's make ads less of a kind of a thing that people want to block.
Yeah, double-edged win there, I think. They win either way.
Facebook's app for kids, called Messenger Kids, is now available for Android in the US. Although, Wired reports controversy continues over the app and whether it's actually responsible for parents to let their kids use it. In 2017, Facebook donated at least $50,000 to MediaSmarts, which has 2 members on Facebook's advisory board for Messenger Kids. At least 7 members of that board have had some kind of financial tie to Facebook over the last, couple of years. Facebook also donated money to the National PTA for the first time in 2017. They're part of this as well. On the other hand, Wired reports that the Common Sense Media and Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood, 2 large nonprofits in the field, say they weren't even informed about it until weeks or days before the app's debut. So Facebook definitely went out of its way to say, hey, listen, we have really gone the extra mile to make sure that, people who are, understand children's development and the risks involved, we're instrumental in helping us build something that's very safe. There's no controversy here. But when you get people donating to each other, even for other things involved, then it's like, well, okay, there might be favors that are going back and forth, and the whole thing seems a little strange.
Yeah, let me give you 2 ways of looking at this story. One way is, hey, Facebook is trying to support the Parent-Teacher Association. Why shouldn't they if they want to be a better citizen? That doesn't mean that they shouldn't also work with the National PTA to develop kid-friendly things. And maybe Common Sense Media and Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood are just upset that they weren't included. And maybe Facebook should have included it, but they can't include every organization, can they? That's one way. Yeah. Way number 2 is, really unusual that the organizations Facebook gave money to said that Facebook's product is great for kids. Wonder how that works.
Also, I don't know. I have a hard time with that number, that 50,000 to MediaSmarts. I understand that's a donation. To me, that'd be a sizable donation, obviously. But for Facebook, this is like putting an extra 50 cents on your tip over at, Qdoba or something.
Yeah. Did they donate it or drop it by mistake?
Yeah. And so I don't know that money trail means that much to me. What's more important to me as a parent, and again, my kids are getting to the point where they're going to start making these choices on their own, and I'm not really getting the maps because they're kids anymore. I don't know what this app does to protect kids. If I was a parent, I'd be super skeptical of this.
We've actually covered that part of it on the show. You weren't just
sure. I wasn't here for that, and I probably missed it. But my point is, they're going to be parents that go, "Oh, it's for kids here," and then just hand it off. And I just think that's weird anyway.
Well, and it's, the whole thing is Facebook saying, hey, parents are going to have lots of control over, what their kids are saying to each other and who their friends are. And there's all this, the parents have to approve a lot of stuff. But it's still Facebook saying, but kids should use this. We're just going to make sure that the parents are involved when, the question is really like, should kids be using this? I mean, no amount of, board members or advisory board can change that if that's actually the answer.
Yeah. I just watched Dirty Money on Netflix. I'm probably in the wrong mood for anything where a company's telling me what my best interests are. But check this out. At Recode's Code Media Conference, Magic Leap CEO Ronnie Obovitz, however you say it, said the company plans to release multiple versions of its headsets, and this is the cheapest on the cheap end, would cost you as much as a high-end smartphone, and the most expensive, the equivalent to a high-end PC. So we're talking $800, $1,000, $1,500, something in that range. Pretty expensive. He also said Magic Leap has a deal with the NBA to let you watch classic NBA games and highlights on the headset. Seems weird, but whatever. Eventually, they hope to enable live streaming. NBA SVP Jeff Marcello said that the hope is to enable live streaming on your coffee table as though you were a giant looking into an arena from above, which, by the way, is a thing a lot of VR stuff attempts, like certain video games or like an RTS, a real-time strategy game, where it feels like you're sort of God mode and you can look down on the valley and see these small tanks as if they're little toys and sort of move them around. That's all very compelling. How do we feel about $1,000 or so for a Magic Leap headset?
Did he name an actual price?
No, but
did he open pre-orders? Did he name a ship date?
No.
Okay, thanks. I'm out.
But listen though, look, high-end PC, that's $1,500.
This company has been in business for 8 years. Wake me when they ship something.
I know. I kind of feel the same way. I take your point.
I like the idea of watching a classic NBA game with the headset. Scott, I know you were like, that's weird, but like, because especially if it's a game where it's, it was really close, or, somebody did something really great, it's like, I think that would be fun.
It would be, I'm with you on the experience of it, but I don't know why NBA games, and also I don't know what constitutes a classic one. Like, I remember the Bulls played the Jazz in 96 or 7, whatever it was, and Jordan played with like some horrible flu and fever, and he still scored 63 points.
It's just old games. When they say classic, don't overthink it.
Well, sure, but my point is, can I pick and choose? Are they going to shove?
Yeah, no, it's a library of old games.
Okay, great. So I'm watching those. That's weird because sports is like this weird ephemeral thing. It's like you can sometimes get nostalgic. Go, remember that game in '62? Oh, a hell of a game. But you're not going to want to sit through the whole freaking thing, are you?
Well, but if it's on your coffee table and you can look down like Moses,
right? And maybe it's
valley.
not the whole game; it's a highlight.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Could also be a cut down, right? Only the best moments.
What this does is this goes back to Tom's point, which I'm now going to agree with. Once I see this thing in action, then maybe I change my mind. But right now, this is all just like fluff talk about things I haven't seen yet. So that may be the most amazing experience ever, to see a little miniature basketball game happening that you weren't there for. But I need to see the thing, and I need to buy one, I guess, for $1,500. It's
supposed to ship this year. It's going to be, as we know, somewhere between $700 and $3,000, given the range that he alluded to. Can't wait. Can't wait for those details to be real. Can't wait to press that pre-order button.
Beep.
Tens of thousands of Snapchat's biggest creators will start seeing view counts and demographic analytics on their Snapchat profile. It probably won't be you. Well, unless you're Chrissy Teigen, which we know she listens to the show religiously. It's the 10,000 biggest creators, the ones who do stories that get put into the Discover feed. All of those folks will get to see the new analytics that will help them get sponsors and product placement deals. So it'll be demographics, male, female, age groups, all that stuff. Previously, even DJ Khaled did not have any information on the community and their followers, and had to use third-party analytics for that.
Yeah, I wish I had built my social media a little bit differently, because I don't know how to sell any products on any of these things. However, there are those Snapchat creators who do get a fair amount of money for putting, some sort of sponsored material or some sort of partnership into Snaps. But if you can't prove that your sort of arbitrary number means anything, and I mean that number that's associated with your username that we all sort of go like, what does it mean? No one really knows. If you can't prove that to an advertiser or some other sponsorship opportunity, then it's really hard to get anybody to give you money.
Yeah, I just say gone are the days if you thought Snapchat was your place to have your sort of sneaky conversations, or your conversations that were going to disappear after a little bit of time. Like, all of its original selling points are going by the wayside in favor of things that puts it in better competition with Instagram and more public platforms, where now you're focusing on creators and personalities who bring in views, who have enough views to generate income on their own, as well as income for the platform. Like, this is just Snapchat getting into line. It's an adjustment they have to make, and they've kind of taken their time doing it. Probably the right thing to do, actually. Being more abrupt may have alienated their user base early on, but this all makes sense to me. If they want to compete in that Instagram world, they gotta do it.
And I think it's not so much that they think that all creators who have built up a following on Snapchat are gonna love their analytics necessarily, but I think the curiosity alone, Snap is hoping that some of the folks who had kind of, I don't know, fallen by the wayside or moved on to other platforms might be enticed to come back.
Well, folks, if you want to get all the tech headlines each day in about 5 minutes, subscribe to Daily Tech Headlines, available on the Amazon Echo, the Google Home, the Anchor app, which you can get on iOS and Android, and as a podcast. And you can put it in whatever podcast app you want. Just get the RSS over there at dailytechheadlines.com. So, last Friday, Dan Patterson at Tech Republic wrote up a story about an IBM security study, did a little interview too, it's worth taking a look at, claiming people finally value security over convenience. Let me just pause and let you pay attention to the words in the order in which I just said them. People value security over convenience, or at least in one particular way they do. 4,000 adults were surveyed in different regions of the world, so this isn't U.S.-centric. They were business users and consumers, a mix of people, and 74% of those surveyed said they would use extra security on financial accounts. In fact, the U.S. had the most people aware of data breaches, although awareness is rising worldwide. So I know your first reaction, most of you, is like, yeah, of course I'm going to put extra security on my financial accounts. But up until now, this is the state in which we lived, right? Is that people were like, nah, I don't really want to do two-factor authentication. I don't want to go to all that trouble. I don't want to pick a secure password. And that has finally, at least according to the survey, maybe changed.
Yeah, I mean, I had a personal experience late last year that turned me around on two-factor in general. I mean, I always kind of knew it was the smart thing to do, but I was too lazy to retroactively go fix everything, and I couldn't remember every account I have. And then I got hacked, and I got hacked pretty hard, and it was mostly social media accounts that got hacked. But it was a pretty aggressive move and freaked me out pretty substantially, to the point that I immediately went from valuing the convenience or lack of having to do much about it to valuing a proactive approach to two-factor and other security measures. And I went through everything from financial to social to email to everything in between. Every game account I have, everything is two-factored up. And every time that comes up and says, enter the code from your authenticator or check your text or whatever the method is I'm using, my brain always has to go, this is a pain, but just remember what the pain was when you were hacked. So I think maybe, I could be wrong, but maybe we're getting to a point where enough people have either experienced something on their own or have seen enough in media or otherwise observation, other people going through this, that now they're starting to value it more because the risks are all too real and no longer just sort of ethereal.
And I think the tools are just better too. There was a time where I knew, particularly working in this field, it's like, don't use the same password across multiple accounts. But I was like, but I just, I can only remember so many things. Well, now I've got one password, and we use LastPass for some of our DTNS accounts. And it's like, once you get the hang of it, it's not really inconvenient. I think that, a few years ago, I felt like it was very inconvenient for me to do all the right things. Two-factor auth now, as you mentioned, Scott, you get a text message. It's like, most of the time, it's pretty seamless. It doesn't really slow me down. And it's that, it's worth it, especially because we know that everybody gets hacked constantly. I have
a new worry that I should mention. The new worry now is that I lose my phone, because that is the thing that has my authenticators on it. It's got the text messages on it. Like, that is I'm way more protective of where my phone is at any given time now since the two-factor Authenticon of 2017. So yeah.
Shout out to the folks out there saying you shouldn't use text message as a second factor because it's not as secure. Granted, but sometimes that's all you have. And so having a text message second factor is better than nothing in most cases. I think that we've seen, like I saw what happened to you, Scott. I think a lot of people saw that and said, well, wait, I better make an inventory of my own security behavior. What else is out there that I could add a second factor to? Do I have strong, unique passwords? not just Scott. I don't think he woke up the entire world, but hacks like Experian and the ransomware hacks and all of that sort of stuff. In this case, maybe clickbait headlines did us a service because it got people worried enough to say, you know what, maybe I will go through the trouble to set that up. And like you say, Sarah, you get used to it. I remember chafing under the idea that I had to put a password in to access my computer. I didn't, like back in Windows 3.1, I didn't have password on my computer. And now it just seems second nature or irresponsible not to have a password on your computer.
Oh, God. I have a couple of friends who don't have passcodes enabled on their smartphones. And I'm like, you make me very uneasy as a person who makes that choice. I don't know how you
think about your life choices, people.
Can't be around those people, but it's true. And there's so many. I was surprised because when this happened to me, I was surprised how easy it was to get authentication through code generation, through actual authentication apps and so on lots and lots of sites that I use. I didn't know they offered it. And so I hope what we also start to see is just more general, I don't know how you do it without annoying people or spamming people, but just reminders that, hey, we're Facebook, we have these 3 options you can use for 2-factor, or hey, we're Twitter, we can do this and this and this. They don't go out of their way to do that sometimes, and I had to hunt some of that stuff down. Now that I have, and I know people who are in the same boat, I'd like to be able to tell them, hey, go do this, download the Google authentication app. I got like 12 sites that use that. But even then, there are a couple who don't do any 2-factor, and that sucks. So also, if you can be picky about what services you use, make sure you let the services you use know that it has been an advantage that they gave you 2-factor authentication options, whereas other sites, other services don't.
And I think along with the fact that securing various accounts, financial and otherwise, has become easier and more accepted than it was before, and we have more tools, I think also a lot of people maybe, I remember once, my bank called me and they were like, did you just make this charge in Florida? It just seems like somewhere you're not. And I'm like, yeah, definitely wasn't me, like that. So that's like one, very small way that you could be like, ooh, thank you for being on top of it, bank. But Scott, you mentioned social media accounts. It's like, what if somebody went in and screwed up my LinkedIn profile and I didn't get a job? And I think there are just a lot more real world implications that could really mess you up besides somebody stealing money from you that people have become more used to knowing that they should worry about.
Yep.
And in fact, we have a related email in the mailbag today, right?
Yeah, we do. Chris from Portland, Oregon, was actually referencing a conversation we had a couple of days ago, but I thought it dovetailed nicely into this conversation. He was talking about better technologies for home entry. He says, I feel the need for physical keys to be really antiquated. My feelings is that home entry needs an update because I enjoy that my car comes equipped with a sensor, that as long as I have my car fob within a few feet of the front door of the car, I can lock and unlock it, and so on and so on. I considered the prospect of applying this technology to home door use, but I felt home entry should require at least 2-factor authentication because the proverbial key to my conundrum would be have a phone near-field communication or NFC chip as the primary authentication, and then to have a camera use facial recognition as that second factor. The obstacle with the camera would be that if it would draw too much power and would require either a large battery pack or be hardwired. Kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah. Remember, factors are something you have, something you know, and sometimes people talk about something you are for biometrics. So a lot of his examples, though, are 2 things you have. Mm. You would still need to have a different kind of factor for it to really be 2 factors. That's one of the things that separates it, because somebody could steal your backpack and get all the things you have, and even if you have 2 factors, well, they have both factors, right? But if they steal your backpack, they don't steal the contents of your mind. So if it's something you know, that's a second factor that's strong, and they would have a harder time getting a hold of.
What if it was just a key? That could be the second factor.
Well, that's the first factor. What's the second factor?
The camera that scans your face.
And then third factor.
Oh, so that's something you are, your face, and then something you have, the key. All right.
Yeah. I mean, not that movies.
I'm with you, Chris.
Movies don't get this right, but if you walk up to a scanner and it says, oh, that's your iris, also speak your name. We need to verify your voice pattern. Uh-huh. And also now put your hand here. We're going to do your...
Those are 3 things you are, though. Those are all the same factor.
True. And then it says, what's your favorite color? You have to,
Okay.
There's the thing and then what's the thing you are? No,
that could just be a watch or a key or wristband or whatever.
Yeah, or your retina scan. That could be a
That's who you. It's something you are, not something you have.
Yeah, that's true. I have an eye. That's a good point.
Yeah. Well, you don't usually take your eye out unless you're Sammy Davis Jr.
Well,
Stick
and
with
if
the key,
they'll
Chris.
kill the guy with the access and then drag his head up to the thing, and it blows my whole theory. So.
Well, yeah, that's always a vulnerability in any biometric situation. But no, you know what? I do love Chris's point that a lot of these Internet of Things and home security options do only have one factor technically.
Yeah.
And it would be good I think he's onto something, that we're going to need two-factor authentication on that sort of stuff.
What would stop somebody from videotaping me plugging numbers into a door lock at home? Nothing. They've got all the Zoom they need on their smartphone to see that from across the street, and then later on they can go over there and try the code and see if it worked, and it does. Okay, great. See it Friday night, 3 o'clock.
It's unlikely to happen.
Yeah, not probable.
But you could. But it's the same thing. Nothing's stopping people from looking over your shoulder when you type your PIN code in, unless you're careful and hide it. So
right. So more factors than that is all we're saying.
Do that. Have it hid.
Yes.
Hey, thanks to everybody who participates in our subreddit. You can submit stories and vote on them at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com and join in the conversation. There's some good conversations going on over on the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/dailytechnewsshow.
Thank you also to Scott Johnson. It's Wednesday, and so it was Scott Day. What's been happening since the last time we saw you?
Well, that was such a celebratory way of saying that. Thank you very much. I'm very excited and happy to report that our weekend There Will Be Dungeon show, which is all about D&D and our campaign through it, has been way off the charts, better than we thought it was going to be in terms of response and follow through and viewers and everything else. It's been really, really great. So if you want to get on that hype train, therewillbedungeons.com is where you can find the old episodes. That is to say, our previous 3 sessions is all, so you can catch up pretty quickly. Our 4th session is this weekend. We're very much looking forward to that. That's therewillbedungeons.com, or you can go to frogpants.com, find that plus everything else I got going on. Or in addition, follow me on Twitter at Scott Johnson.
Thank you, patrons, for keeping us in business. We need more of you to make sure that we have at least one more patron than last year. So check out all the perks. Last month. Thank you, Sarah. We definitely want at least one more than last year, too. But we prefer one more than last
If it was
month.
January, that would have worked.
I could have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/DTNS, though. Go check that out. And very excited that something we've been wanting to do for a long time has happened. We've taken a piece of Len Peralta art and put it in the store on a T-shirt. The tiny mantis with the 3D glasses that we talked about last Friday is available on a T-shirt. You can wear it on your body. Just go to dailytechnewsshow.com/store right now and buy it.
You know, those praying mantises are very mean, Tom.
Well, this will help you get in good with them.
Listen, I wish you had told me that in high school. I had a
I
prank.
think they're mean because they can't see. The 3D glasses are going to solve everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be mad
I had a
too.
praying mantis kill both a toad and a tarantula when I was younger. So they're tough.
See? Okay.
If
All
that
right,
toad
so
or
it's
tarantula
not
had been
just-
wearing this T-shirt, they'd still be with us today.
Right. Just buy the shirt. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. We're live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 21:30 UTC. And if you want to know all of your choices to watch live and get a hold of us and catch up on everything we do, dailytechnewsshow.com/live.
We'll be back tomorrow with Justin Robert Young as our guest. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
It's funny, as I was setting that up, I was like, /live isn't actually where all that happens.
Oh my gosh, that was exactly 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Wow.
That was exactly 30 minutes.
Yeah, my timer is right on.
Wow.
Well, I guess you guys solved it.
I guess we cracked the code. Yeah. Done. Fix that one, Roger.
Just
Well,
add
really-
a bunch more numbers that I can't really parse while we're live.
You don't
I
need...
know yellow and red.
Exactly. That's the only thing we need to worry about.
Yeah.
What really helped was I just decided to pull in a second counter, like just so I could get it to.
Ah, okay.
Because
Nice.
for the life of me, for the longest time, it's like, how come you can't get a second counter in the Windows 10 clock? Then I realized you just have to red check it.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But yeah,
I did not expect it to be 30 minutes exactly. That was crazy.
Nuts.
Woohoo! Now we can do
It's funny
broadcast.
because we also had a red a couple times where I was like, we're going long, but you know.
This is how you drive too, isn't it? There's no one coming.
Wake me when they ship something. Magic.
Oh, we're into titles. Yes. Okay. Good.
No, I thought it was
Security versus convenience. Man.
Cough, 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 man. Like that
SETI, except the S is a dollar sign.
Clever.
Say Yahweh versus Huawei.
the Jesus phone.
It
not
just cracked me up
Jesus.
when you said it.
It's the name that's a substitute for God because the name of God is unpronounceable, or you can't say it.
Correct.
It's also my Chinese name. So there you go.
Yahweh is?
It also
Yes.
sounds like a phone
Wow,
brand in
that's
China.
cool.
Sounds like a phone.
You're talking to the human incarnation
See,
of
when
the word.
I don't say Yahweh, but I do say Huawei. But maybe I need to
That's-
like enunciate that H a little more.
Huawei is
Huawei.
acceptable, right?
Okay.
It doesn't sound like you're saying the name of the Almighty.
Sort of like when people say voila, even though it's
Right.
voila.
Voila.
But you're like, yeah, it's
Huawei is like getting, even that's not really like how it's said in Chinese. Like, I can't do that. I can't say it that way.
Huawei.
But it gets closer.
Hua. I
Well,
think it's
so-
flower because Hua is the Mandarin for flower. See, you'll no. Really, I like Magic Leap. What was it? Magic Leap of Faith, SETI, Wake Me When They Ship Something, and there was one more. Oh, Security versus Convenience that I liked.
I mean, security versus convenience is boring, but it's the perfect title for the show because that's what
Yeah.
we talk about the most.
Exactly.
Wake Me When They Ship Something's hilarious, but I don't know.
It's also very vague.
It's also kind of mean.
Magic Leap of Faith. Still,
That one's less. That's more like, really? Okay.
SETI one is pretty funny, but I'm not sure if people would get it.
Yeah, it sounds like we're saying SETI's money hungry or something.
Yeah, like they're just like rolling in it. Ballers.
It's like Kesha before she changed it.
We contacted an interstellar race of NBA players.
Well, Mojam might be going on a tear here because I think he's had the last two title submissions, and security versus convenience is the one I'm leaning towards, unless anybody wants to argue me out of it.
I like that one.
I like it.
Yeah.
Mojam FTW.
Oh boy, do I not want to get on a red eye tonight, guys.
Oh.
You know what you need, Sarah?
What?
A brand new audiobook.
Do you have one in mind, Tom?
Well, funny you should ask.
It's
Bavaria
funny.
is
Isn't that
out
funny?
today on audible.com.
Whoa.
It's the book I wrote.
That's great.
Is this plug
I
not
wonder
effective?
how many Audible ads I've actually done. I mean, hundreds.
Yeah, seriously, me too. This time, I'm not offering you anything for free. I'm telling you to buy my book.
Buy my
You
book.
should. You know?
What's his name?
Tom
Jim
went out of
Patton?
his way to write a book, everybody. Buy it.
And then guilt
Wait,
them into it.
Who's the guy who cranks
you know
out
how
all
much
those
time I
books? What's his name? Is it Jim Patterson? No, Jim Patterson. Who's the he always does the TV ads. Buy my books. Something Patterson.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
Buy my program. No, he made software to teach you how to play.
And he would sit on what looked like a toilet. Remember?
Yeah.
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 Kind of,
he-
and you're like, what is he sitting on? He looks like he's on the can.
Oh, he'd say, buy my product is what he'd say.
Yeah.
buy my product.
Buy my product. Yeah.
No, he's an actual author, but he's like super, like prodigious. James Patterson.
You're thinking of a different thing than Sarah and
Oh.
Scott are describing, I think.
Okay, because I just remembered these ads where he would just like, you should buy my books. And he literally has
Yeah,
like
this
a
was Buy My
billion.
Product.
not a billion,
Sarah and I are thinking of the video professor. That's who we're thinking.
That's it.
Oh no, I'm thinking of this guy. Like he did murder. He did the zoo thing that CBS turned into a TV series.
You know, the zoo thing.
Yeah.
The president
Try
is
my
missing.
product.
The line, count to 10. Treasure
Try my
hunters,
product.
The murder house. I mean, people make fun of him because he just writes so much, and he implores people to buy his books.
If you're not satisfied, I'll give you your money back. Guaranteed.
But the money will be funny money. Monopoly money.
Oh, I forgot about the video professor. You know, for all the money in the world, all the crypto in the world, I wouldn't have been able to remember the product. I still don't know what it is.
He taught.
I guess it's how to
I remember
understand
like,
video.
Office
Yeah.
95 and stuff like that.
It was like tech instruction for Microsoft Word or Windows.
Yeah.
How to use
It was
front.
a video
I'm a
course.
product.
They were on Tech TV, so I think that's why the three of us here got exposed to them a lot.
Yeah.
Right next to the Rotato.
Buy the product that we do
they
on our
ran on
network.
late night TV.
Oh yeah, they ran everywhere. But
Yeah.
That's how I saw him.
Yeah.
I'd see him in infomercials.
I got overexposed to them on Tech TV for sure. Buy my
The
product.
Rotato was
There
kinda
was
cool.
when we were all younger. There were those encyclopedia commercials with that like.
Kid.
Yeah, well, he's like
right.
a teenager, right? With
Yeah.
like glasses, and he would talk to the disembodied voice
And a puffy shirt.
about
So-
buying encyclopedias and like it was like they would be like sort of cheeky with each other, and it's like, who's that man that he's talking to about buying encyclopedias? It was so bad. There were like a bunch of them.
That
It's a
was
whole
the thing, though.
series.
That was a style.
And then there were the videotapes on how to build a website with Sumi
Featuring-
Das
wait.
and Tom Merritt.
I like how you guys are leaning together back to back. It's like a sitcom.
Oh yeah.
I never wrote a book.
Or maybe digital video for the desktop.
There's always NaNoWriMo in November when I try and fail. Every
Martin Sargent.
November.
Everyone, I think who was it? An author once said, like, I believe everyone has a novel in them, like at least one, if not, more. But everyone.
Oh my
can write
gosh.
one book.
Okay, I found out where the video professor is and what he's doing. Here's what he says. Here's the website tagline. John has done it all. It's John Shearer, the video professor. John has done it all. Retail, PR, TV, social media, the internet. And
Me
now
too.
do it.
Me too.
I think all of us have.
Buy my product.
Buy my
Buy my product.
I mean,
Buy my
we're,
product.
we're actually, that could be our DTNS tagline.
buy my
Buy our
product.
product.
Let John Shearer promote your product, it says.
He'll probably sue us if we make that our tagline though. I'm sure he's got it service marked. Try my
Download our
product.
product.
Target your customers directly through the power of cost effectiveness of radio.
Whoa, cost effectiveness.
What about hypnosis?
Power of mass hypnosis.
Was it? Remember that used to be a thing.
all download
People
it
thought
from
you
Audible.
could hypnotize swaths of people.
Has anybody been hypnotized in this group?
Yes, I
Nope.
have in junior high.
They
You
tried.
have,
It
Scott?
didn't,
Or no,
it
high school.
didn't work on me. It didn't
No,
work.
so this is the thing when I was hypnotized, and the guy stresses very, very strongly, you need to want to be hypnotized. If you go in thinking, I'm not going to be hypnotized, it's not going to work on you because it works on the power of suggestion.
That's what they want you to think.
See, that's the thing is like, that's not
My-
good enough for me. I've
Yeah.
never tried to be hypnotized. I'm positive it's not possible, but I've never tried. So I guess I'm not 100%.
I feel
I'm pretty positive.
I feel like it's a trap where they say if you don't want to be hypnotized, you won't. So I just go, great, then I won't.
Yeah.
Because it feels like the trap is like, so make yourself suggestible, and I'm like, no, I'm not comfortable with that.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole thing. You
Well,
need to
good,
be
then
open
you
to
don't
this.
have power over me. It's good, great. I'm fine with that.
All right. Well, that's why it's a party trick and not like an ad.
And also why I'm no fun at
It's-
parties. I get
But
it.
like, okay, let's say that, I'm in like, I don't know, a safe space. I'm not going to like be made fun of. And I'm like, I really want to be hypnotized. I still don't think it's possible.
Well, yeah, not with that attitude.
Well, like, I mean, okay, I think I can fly, so I guess I can. Like, no, it doesn't work that way.
No, I think Poodle Puncher's got it in the chat room. He's like, nobody wants to be the jerk who ruins it for everyone, so you play along.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that. If I'm not hypnotized, everyone's going to know it.
Nope, still not hypnotized. Oh,
No,
come on, Sarah.
I'm wide awake, guys.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Although maybe we just are being hypnotized all the time, and we just
Maybe we're hypnotized. Maybe none of you are real.
Didn't you ever watch They Live? I mean, we were constantly being bombarded with suggestions all the time.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was a documentary and not of drama made up.
That
Are
was
we?
actually the that was a documentary on Roddy Piper's post WWF
Yep.
career.
He was all out of gum.
All out of gum.
Yep.
But he found
finally-
those nifty sunglasses.
Finally ran out of gum.
Yep. Saw that for Film Sack. That thing is something else.
That movie is a cult classic. That
pretty
and
great. It's
that
pretty.
and Hell Comes to Frogtown. If you want to watch two really funny, good Roddy Piper movies, those are it.
I feel like Roger would fit in well on Film Sack.
He would. He
Every time you start talking about Film Sack movies, like,
Yeah, he knows.
Oh,
He
actually.
knows most of the ones we talk or do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I watch schlocky movies.
Yep. Schlock is fun when I do it. Boy, this video professor guy got almost sued out of existence in the 2000s.
Oh, really? What for?
Let's see. Video professor sales model said it was very controversial.
sort of like
criticized for
Ponzi type
the-
thing, maybe.
It says using deceptive and unethical sales practices regarding its television, internet advertisements, offering a free trial of the CD-ROM for just the cost of shipping and handling. But then they started getting
Really
weird.
reams you
Like,
on the
people were getting billed $400 for nothing, like weird stuff like that. And so they got, let's see, they got their accreditation revoked as of 2012.
Were there? This is important since we're discussing this in public. Were there any court cases that were concluded against him, or was it all dismissed? Or
Let's see. No one they billed for.
'cause he got accused of a lot of things? That doesn't mean.
You know, it kind of reminds me, not in the same way, but another famous pitchman was Kevin Trudeau, not related to the Prime Minister of Canada. He was the one that used to flog those books with the miracle cures, like how you could cure all sorts of things, even cancer. And he would sell these books. And my dad, he actually bought these books. And I remember turning to the section about curing cancer. He has like this 2 to 3 page thing about how I was going to write this, but the the Food and Drug Administration came to my room and they destroyed all my notes and they took all my material away, and it was just like, you're such a jerk.
Scott, did you find out if he actually lost any of those court cases?
I'm looking.
Because then we have to make very clear that these are all allegations.
Yeah. No. It's a good point. It says
Maybe they're not true.
let's see, lawsuits. It looks like they just, I don't know. Some of this stuff is like settlements.
Yeah, so he settled a lot of them.
Yeah, and then the weird thing, I guess, in 2007, the video professor company filed 100 anonymous posters, filed lawsuits against 100 anonymous posters of critical reviews,
Yeah.
which is crazy. And the Better Business Bureau gave them an F, and that's why they retaliated that way.
An
Okay.
F for fantastic.
For fun.
Anyway, apparently it was a big mess in Colorado, but yeah, no convictions of anything.
Okay, that's important to note.
Yeah.
So is
I'm
he no
not
longer
sure
a professor?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
That was Roger.
Oh, sorry, Roger.
I was just
Go ahead.
wondering, can he no longer use the title professor?
Probably. Now he's just this guy that goes around and consults.
I don't think he ever was using it in an accredited manner. I think anybody can call themselves a professor, right?
They did on Gilligan's Island.
That's right.
Can he call himself Marianne? Is that allowed?
Kenneth
Well,
Johnson.
Marianne and Ginger did swap places for one episode.
Yeah, that's true. Kenneth Johnson played the professor, and I don't know why I know that.
It's because the last time you saw him, he was about 300 pounds. Like, he swelled up. He got huge.
Really? The professor did?
Yeah.
That is not why. You just wanted to say that about him.
No, that's the only reason why I remember it is because I saw him.
That's
like,
why
on
you
Vicky,
remember it. Okay.
Vicky something, that talk show, Vicky.
Have you watched television in the past 10 years?
I watch SNL on TV, like when it's on.
Are you talking about Ricky Lake?
No, Vicky. You know, she
Oh,
used to be in
Vicky.
Mama's,
Okay,
she
all
used
right.
to be on Mama's Family or something.
What?
She was
When was that on TV?
Mama's Family?
Mama's Family?
No.
Wasn't that a
Ricky
show?
Lake?
Not
Ricky
Ricky,
Lake was
Vicky.
not
not
Mama's
Ricky
Family.
Lake.
I think you may be talking about an even older talk show.
Vicky Lawrence.
Oh, Vicky
Remember Vicky
Lawrence.
Lawrence. She had her own talk show.
Yeah. She was-
She did?
Oh man.
no, he's
know what?
right.
She played Mama, right?
Yeah.
Yes. That's Mama's Family.
That was a really good show. I had forgotten all about it. I should
I
really
like
watch some reruns.
Apparently, I was more intense with TV than most people.
I do
You
not
said
remember
Ricky
Vicky
Lake.
Lawrence having a talk show.
She had a short-lived one.
I mean, there was a time where, I know that there are still talk shows. Maury Povich, you know, he's red and high, but and he might be the only one left actually. Now that I think about it, but
No, it's all Ellen and Jimmy Kimmel and all the late night.
Yeah, Vicky lasted
different.
2 years.
I guess it's different. The focuses are like, you know, on Ellen, it's like they're not being like, let's do a paternity test. Like it's
Oh
like
yeah,
a different.
no, that's
kind
a
of talk
dying.
show, you
That's a
know?
dying breed.
No,
There's still a few
I-
of those out.
I used to
Yeah.
watch Montel Williams religiously because I loved it. It was just like the craziest cat, and it wasn't like Springer where it was just kind of bottom of the.
I think Jerry
barrel.
Springer's still doing his.
Yeah, he's still got a show.
Huh.
Yep. I don't know if it's the same show, but he's still doing one.
What was the one that made fun of it? The guy that plays Notch on Son of a Beach.
Well, we should
used to-
probably leave that as an exercise for the audience or a bonus for the patrons, perhaps, as Roger
True.
looks that up.
It's a cliffhanger, man.
All
Yeah.
right, everyone, wave bye to the video audience on YouTube. Bye.
Goodbye, video audience on YouTube.
Bye.